Beyond the voice in your head. Chapter 1. Rising back into life. Most people are dragged along by the voice in their head. They are possessed by their thoughts and emotions. And because of this, they fail to recognize that what possesses them is not who they truly are. Because the mind is conditioned by the past, you will continue to recreate the past over and over again. This is what is called karma. When you are completely identified with the voice in your head, you naturally cannot see it for what it is. But the moment you can, you are no longer possessed by it. The ego is born through complete identification with the mind. It is the body's reaction to an unobserved mind, to unobserved emotions. Yet even for the briefest of moments, everyone has experienced freedom from it. Peace, joy, creativity, love, and compassion. All of these arise in those moments. Eckhart Tolle had suffered from deep depression and psychological turmoil since adolescence, so severe that he sometimes felt the pull of suicide. Then one night, shortly after his 29th birthday, something shifted within him. He later described it this way: "In the middle of the night, I woke up in a state of unbearable depression. The suffering was so intense that I could no longer live with myself. And in that moment, I noticed something strange. I kept thinking, I cannot live with myself. And then it struck me, who is this I that cannot live with myself? Are there two of me? And if so, which one is real?" He was then drawn into what felt like a vacuum of energy that dissolved all thought. When he opened his eyes, it was morning. Everything had become still. Light filtered through the curtains. Birds were singing. Time seemed to have stopped. Every question had vanished. Only peace remained. Only the present moment. The sense of I had dissolved. There was only awareness itself. Only the presence of a quiet observer. The next morning, everything felt miraculous. Even traffic felt peaceful. This sense of deep peace never left him. No matter what circumstances arose, he could feel a strong undercurrent of stillness beneath it all. After this sudden shift from the depths of despair to the light of awakening, Tolle left graduate school and spent years sitting on park benches and in Buddhist temples, simply watching the world. He read books on the nature of mind and met with spiritual teachers, continuing his inner journey for many years. His family thought he had lost his mind, but he was completely absorbed in one thing, exploring what had happened within him. Every human being hears a voice in their head, a stream of thought that runs automatically without our choosing it. This voice commands, judges, compares, complains, likes and dislikes, recalls the past, and imagines the future. But Tola says, this is not all that you are. Behind the stream of thought, there is a vast, open space, untouched by thought, the infinite space in which thoughts arise and pass away. Tola calls this pure being, or pure presence. We can consciously connect with this pure presence right now, in this very moment. And this connection is freedom from the ego. It is peace. It is stillness. Tolle calls it the joy of being. We are all born into a kind of prison. It is like a state of dreaming. The thoughts and emotions that dominate the mind, the conditioned patterns that prevent us from seeing the true nature of life. This is the prison. But your thoughts are not you. The ego is the part of us that always wants to say I in every situation. And the ego cannot exist on its own. It must identify with something outside itself. Status, reputation, belief, luxury brands, appearance. But none of these things are truly you. And so no matter what the ego identifies with, it can never be satisfied. It keeps searching for the next thing to attach itself to. To resolve this, you must awaken not the ego, but the true self that lives beneath it. My thoughts, my feelings, my sensations, my experiences. These are not me. The joy of simply being, that is what I am. Tola says, stop defining yourself and others. You will not die from this. On the contrary, you will finally begin to experience what it means to be alive. The essential part of awakening is becoming aware of your own unawareness. It is recognizing the ego, the part of you that thinks, speaks, and acts from a place of unconsciousness. It also means understanding the collectively conditioned patterns of mind that keep that unconsciousness in place. Without knowing the basic structure through which the ego operates, you cannot recognize it. And so you continue to be deceived by it, believing the ego is who you are. It is like a con artist wearing your face, taking over your life. When you recognize the unconscious within yourself, the very act of recognition is the arising of consciousness. You awaken to awareness. You cannot fight darkness. In the same way, you cannot win by fighting the ego. What is needed is simply the light of awareness. And you are that light. When you look deeply into the world's ancient religions and spiritual traditions, there are many differences on the surface, but beneath them, most share two fundamental insights. The first insight is this: the normal state of the human mind contains a powerful element of dysfunction, something that might even be called madness. Some teachings in the East come closest to seeing this as a form of collective mental illness. They call it Maya, the veil of illusion. The great Indian sage Ramana Maharshi put it plainly: the mind is Maya. Buddhism uses different language. According to the Buddha, the human mind in its ordinary state carries dukkha, which can be translated as suffering, dissatisfaction, or ordinary unhappiness. The Buddha saw this as a fundamental characteristic of the human condition. Wherever you are, whatever you do, sooner or later, dukkha will appear. In Christianity, this dysfunction is referred to as sin. The word sin has been deeply misunderstood. The original Greek word used in the New Testament, translated literally, means to miss the mark, like an arrow that misses its target. Sin, then, describes a way of being that has drifted from its center. It is to live blindly, unconsciously, causing suffering and being caused suffering. Strip away the misinterpretations, and sin points to the dysfunction inherent in the human condition. There is no denying humanity's remarkable achievements. Especially in recent centuries, science and technology have fundamentally transformed life. Things that would have seemed miraculous 200 years ago are now commonplace. Human beings are undeniably intelligent. And yet that intelligence is tinged with madness. Technology has amplified the destructive effects of the dysfunction that shadows the human mind, its impact on the earth, on other species, and on humanity itself. This collective madness became most visible in the history of the 20th century, and it is accelerating. Fear, greed, the hunger for power, these are not the dysfunction itself. They are its symptoms. The dysfunction runs deeper, a collectively conditioned delusion rooted in the human mind. Many spiritual teachings say, let go of fear and desire. But these attempts almost always fail. They don't reach the root of the dysfunction. Fear and greed are not the cause, they are the result. Trying to become a better person sounds noble and praiseworthy, but without a fundamental shift in consciousness, it is ultimately bound to fail. Because the effort to become good is itself part of the same dysfunction, a more subtle, refined version of self-reinforcement. It is still the desire to make the ego's self-image larger and stronger. You don't become a good person by trying. You become one by discovering the goodness that already exists within you and allowing it to come forward. But for that goodness to emerge, a fundamental change in your state of consciousness must first take place. Most ancient religions and spiritual traditions share a second insight as well. And it is good news. a fundamental transformation of human consciousness is possible. In Hindu teachings, and sometimes in Buddhism, this transformation is called enlightenment. In Jesus' teachings, it is called salvation. Buddhism also uses the words liberation and awakening to describe it. Humanity's greatest achievement is not art, science, or technology. It is the recognition of one's own dysfunction, one's own madness. The moment you recognize your own madness is itself the emergence of sanity. It is the beginning of healing and transcendence. Already on this planet, a new dimension of consciousness has begun to appear. The first flowers slowly opening. Perhaps the first person to most clearly recognize this dysfunction was Gautama Siddhartha, who lived in India 2,600 years ago. He was later given the name Buddha, which simply means the awakened one. Around the same time in China, another awakened teacher appeared, Lao Tzu, who left behind the Tao Te Ching. These teachers spoke to the people of their time. They spoke of sin, of suffering, of delusion. Look at the way you are living, they said. Look at what you are doing. Look at the suffering you are creating. And then they pointed to the possibility of awakening from the collective nightmare of ordinary human existence. They showed the way. But the world was not yet ready to receive them. They were misunderstood, not only in their own time, but by generations that followed. Their teachings were simple and powerful, yet they were distorted, misinterpreted, and in some cases, deliberately altered by their followers. Over centuries, many things were added that had nothing to do with the original teaching. Things that reflected fundamental misunderstanding. Some of these teachers were mocked, persecuted, or killed. Others were worshipped as gods. The teachings meant to help humanity overcome its dysfunction, to show the way out of collective madness, were themselves thoroughly distorted. They became part of the madness. And so religion, rather than uniting human beings, became a force that divided them. Instead of ending violence and hatred through the recognition that all life is one, religion gave rise to more violence, more hatred, dividing people from followers of other religions, and even from those within the same faith. Religion became ideology. People identified with it, and it became a belief system that reinforced the illusion of a separate self. People use their beliefs to declare themselves right and others wrong. They called those who disagreed enemies, unbelievers, those of false views, and in doing so, built their own identities. Sometimes they even justified killing those who opposed them. Human beings created God in their own image, and what was infinite and eternal became a possession. My God. our God, something to worship and defend. And yet, beneath all the distortion and violence committed in the name of religion, the truth these teachers pointed to still shines. Even through countless layers of misinterpretation, it shines still. But the likelihood of recognizing that light is very small, unless a person looks within themselves, even for a moment. Rare as it is, throughout history there have always been those who experienced a shift in consciousness and discovered within themselves what all religions point toward. Through them, new movements and sects arose within nearly every major religion, rediscovering the light of the original teaching, and in some cases, making it shine even more clearly. The ego-driven dysfunction of the human mind, recognized by ancient teachers 2,500 years ago and now amplified by advancing technology, is for the first time threatening the very survival of the planet. The widespread flowering of human consciousness has not yet happened because the urgency has not yet been felt deeply enough. But it is coming. Many on this earth will soon come to understand humanity now faces a critical choice: evolve or perish. Already, though still in small numbers, people are experiencing the collapse of the old mind's ways, the ego's long dominance breaking down, and a new dimension of consciousness emerging in its place. This number is growing rapidly. What is happening now is not a new system, not a new religion, not a spiritual ideology or a new myth. We are moving toward the end of myth, toward the end of belief systems as such. The change is happening at a level deeper than the content of the mind, deeper than thought. The core of the new consciousness lies in the transcendence of thought, in the awakening of a new capacity to recognize that within oneself there exists a dimension infinitely vaster than thought. At that point, you no longer seek your identity, your sense of who you are in the endless stream of thinking that you once mistook for yourself. To realize that the voice in your head is not actually you, this is an inexpressible freedom. So then, who are you really? The true you is the awareness that exists before thought. It is the space in which thought arises. It is the space in which emotion, sensation, and perception arise. That is what you are. The ego is nothing more than identification with form, primarily the form of thought. If evil has any reality, and evil is not an absolute, but a relative concept, it might be defined this way: to completely believe that form is who you are. To identify with material form, with thought forms, with emotion forms, and in doing so, to lose all awareness of your connection to the whole, to all other people and all other life. The forgetting of that connection, that is sin, that is suffering, that is delusion, the illusion of separation. When the delusion of separation governs every thought, every word, every action, what kind of world do we create? To find the answer, look at human relationships, read history, or simply watch the news tonight. If the structure of the human mind does not change, we will continue to create over and over the same world, the same dysfunction, the same suffering. The Bible says, "I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away." We must understand here that heaven is not a place in space. It is an inner dimension of consciousness. That is the deeper meaning of the word. That is the meaning carried in Jesus' teachings. And the earth refers to the outer world, the world of form. The outer world is always a reflection of the inner. Collective human consciousness and life on this planet are essentially one. The new heaven is the emergence of a transformed state of human consciousness. The new earth is its reflection in the material world. Human life and consciousness are fundamentally one with the life of the earth. And so, when the old consciousness dissolves, great changes, geographical and climatic, must inevitably ripple through the earth as well. Some of this we are already witnessing. The word "I," depending on how it is used, can be either the most profound error or the deepest truth. In its ordinary, everyday use, the word "I" contains a fundamental mistake, a false identity, a mistaken sense of who you are. This is the ego. Einstein, who had profound insight not only into time and space, but into human nature, called this illusory sense of self an optical delusion of consciousness. This illusion becomes the foundation of all subsequent interpretation, or more accurately, misinterpretation of reality. It becomes the root of all thought processes, interactions, and relationships. Your reality is a reflection of this fundamental illusion. But here is the good news. Once you recognize an illusion as an illusion, it dissolves. The awareness of illusion is the end of illusion. The illusion can only survive while you genuinely mistake it for reality. The moment you know what you are not, what you truly are begins to reveal itself. When you say "I," what you usually mean is not the real you. When a child learns that the sounds their parents make correspond to their name, that word becomes a thought in the child's mind, and the child begins to identify with it. At this stage, some children refer to themselves in the third person. Tina is hungry. But soon the child learns the magic word, "I," and begins to use it in the same way they already use their name. Other thoughts then attach themselves to this I, and then comes mine and my, identification with objects outside the self. The child draws identity from things by clothing those things in the garment of self-awareness. When my toy is broken or taken away, intense pain arises, not because of the toy's intrinsic value, but because the toy had become part of the child's developing sense of self. As the child grows, the I attracts more and more thoughts: gender, possessions, the physical body, nationality, race, religion, occupation. Then come roles: mother, father, husband, wife, accumulated knowledge and opinions, likes and dislikes, and the memories of what has happened to me. These memories define and reinforce the sense of self once more as me and my story. But all of these are ultimately nothing more than thoughts, held together precariously by the self-awareness projected onto them. When most people say I, this is what they are pointing to, this mental structure. More precisely, when you say or think I, it is usually not you at all. It is a part of this mental construction, a self governed by the ego. Even after realizing this, you will still use the word I. But when you do, it will come from a much deeper place within you. The inner body is not solid matter. It is vast space. It is not physical form. It is the life that moves physical form. It is the intelligence that creates and sustains the body, while simultaneously coordinating an incomprehensibly complex array of functions. Functions that the human mind can only partially begin to grasp. When you become aware of its existence, what is actually happening is that this intelligence is becoming aware of itself. That is the life which no scientist has yet been able to define, because the consciousness doing the searching is itself that very life. Physicists have shown us that the apparent solidity of matter is, in fact, an illusion created by the human senses, and this includes the physical body. We perceive the body as a form. We think of it as a form, but 99.99% of it is actually empty space. At the atomic level, the space between atoms is vast, and within each atom there is more space still. The body is a misunderstanding of your true self. In many ways, the body is a microcosm of the universe. Consider the scale of space between celestial bodies. Light traveling at 186,000 miles per second takes just over a second to reach Earth from the Moon. Light from the Sun takes about 8 minutes. The nearest star to our Sun, Proxima Centauri, is 4.5 light-years away. and the space between galaxies is beyond comprehension. Light from our nearest neighboring galaxy, Andromeda, takes 2.4 million years to reach us. Is it not astonishing that your own body is made of empty space as vast as the universe itself? Go deeper into it, and your body is essentially formless. It is a gateway into inner space. And though inner space has no form, it is intensely, vividly alive. That emptiness is a fullness, a life brimming with presence. It is the hidden source from which all things emerge. In the language of tradition, that source is what is called God. Thoughts and words belong to the world of form. They cannot express the formless. So the thought, "I can feel my inner body," is itself a misunderstanding created by the mind. What is actually happening is that consciousness embodied as form, the consciousness that says, "I am," is becoming aware of itself. When you no longer confuse your true self with the temporary form called me, the infinite and eternal, the dimension of God can express itself through you. It can guide you, and it frees you from dependence on form. The most important question is this: right now, in this moment, can I sense the presence of inner space? Can I feel my own presence? Or more precisely, the aliveness of my presence? You can also approach this truth another way. Ask yourself, am I aware not only of what is happening right now, but of the now itself? The timeless, living inner space in which everything arises. The space of now. Can you sense it? The moment you become aware of that space, you will be surprised to feel a stronger sense of aliveness rising within you. You are feeling the aliveness of the inner body, the unique aliveness that belongs to pure being. As often as possible in daily life, become aware of the inner body, and in doing so, create space. When you are waiting for someone, when you are listening, when you pause to look at the sky, a tree, a flower, a child, feel the aliveness within you at the same time. As consciousness is born into form, as it becomes a thought, a feeling, a sensory perception, an experience. What Buddhism calls the cycle of rebirth is happening continuously in every moment. The only way to step free of it is through the now, through the power of the present moment. By fully accepting whatever form the now takes, you align inwardly with the essence of now, which is space. Through acceptance, you expand inwardly. You align with space rather than form, and this will bring true perspective and balance to your life. Chapter 2: The Wisdom of Stillness. In the eyes of the world, many things matter. Your health, your education, your wealth or poverty. These things clearly affect your life. Yes, at the relative level, all of these things are important. But at the absolute level, none of them matter at all. There is something that matters more than any of them, and that something is discovering what you truly are, finding your own reality. Have you ever encountered something in nature so beautiful it stopped you completely? A vast and wondrous scene, a sky without a single cloud, a tiny plane crossing that blue expanse, or the sound of quiet waves, a sunset slowly setting the world on fire. In those moments, something strange happens. Whether or not anyone else is nearby, it feels as if only you and that scene exist in the whole world. You find yourself gazing in silence, thinking, how can the world be this beautiful? And then, for a while longer, you simply watch without words. In those moments, there can come an instant where nothing is felt at all. The noise around you fades. Even your own body seems to disappear. It is as if you have become an enormous eye, weightless as the wind, looking down on everything at once. Perhaps that is the moment when stillness enters. A true teacher has nothing to add and nothing to take away. A true teacher is someone who helps you remove whatever is obscuring your natural state, whatever stands between you and the truth you already carry within you. A true teacher exists to reveal the deep peace that is already there, to show it to you. Every human being carries within them a vast and quiet space. Like the open sky, unobstructed, utterly still. Without ever touching this space, you cannot truly know yourself. And without knowing yourself, you become lost in the world. The I that exists at the deepest level cannot exist separately from stillness. This is my reality, at a dimension far deeper than any name or form. My reality is stillness. What is stillness? It is the inner space, the clear mind that perceives what I see, what I hear, what I read right now, and converts that perception into thought. Without this clear mind, there can be no perception, no thinking, and so without it, this world itself does not exist. My reality is this clear mind, this clear awareness. It is the clear mind that has taken the temporary form of a human being. Outer stillness is not stillness. It is something that is still. When stillness descends around you for even a moment, listen to it. Look at it. Watch it. When you listen to the stillness outside, the stillness inside awakens. The mind becomes quiet. You become able to perceive the outer stillness. The moment you become aware of outer stillness, notice no thought is arising within you. You are simply watching with your whole being. In that moment, there are no thoughts at all. The moment you become conscious of outer stillness, inner stillness awakens. And in that moment, you exist, here, now. In that instant, you are stepping free of a habit humanity has carried for thousands of years. Look at a tree. Look at a flower, at the grass. Rest your clear mind lightly upon them. How still is a tree? How deeply a flower is rooted in life. We must learn stillness from nature. When you remain with such a still moment, the mind that was perceiving something becomes simply empty, clear, and awakens the wellspring of pure consciousness that transcends all inner form. The you who once believed form was yourself is gone now. True wisdom arises from stillness. So if you want to develop creativity, if you want to solve a problem, enter stillness. Each time you deeply accept whatever form this moment takes, just as it is, you become still, you become peaceful. When you stop everything and become still, wisdom is right there. Simply look, simply listen. Nothing more is needed. When you are still, when you simply look and simply listen, the wisdom that transcends thought awakens from within. The path to inner peace is not fixing or changing your outer circumstances. It is awakening to the deepest nature of what you truly are. The human mind has a drive to know, to understand, and through understanding, to control. It is easy to mistake your own thoughts and opinions for facts. The mind is always saying, "This is just how things are." But however I interpret my life or someone else's, however I judge the situation in front of me, it is only a point of view. One perspective among countless valid ones. It is nothing more than a bundle of thoughts. To realize this, you must become someone far larger than your own thinking. Of course, thought is an enormously useful and effective tool. But when thought completely takes over your life, you lose sight of the fact that thinking is only a very small part of what you are. At that point, thought no longer serves life. It diminishes it. It obstructs it. Wisdom does not come from thought. Wisdom already exists at the level of being, and the way to draw on it is very simple. Give your full attention to whatever person or thing is before you right now. full presence is primal wisdom. It is pure consciousness itself. Presence dissolves the barriers built by conceptual thinking, and through this, you come to understand that nothing in this world exists in isolation. The reality of the universe is a whole, interconnected. Everything is connected to everything else. Nothing exists alone. In the shared field of clear mind, the one who perceives and the one who is perceived become one. The divisions between you and me begin to heal. The realm of pure consciousness is far vaster than anything thought can grasp. The day you stop believing every thought that comes, on that day, you take one step out of the prison of thought, and you will clearly see the one who thinks is not your true nature. Thought always whispers, "This is not enough." It always wants more. This is not a call to stop thinking altogether. It is a call to stop identifying completely with thought, to stop being entirely governed by it. When thought becomes me, I become restless again and again. Restlessness is the hungry mind craving more stimulation, more to fill itself with. The hunger has not yet gone. The one who is angry, that is not me. The one who is afraid, that is not me. The one who is sad, that is not me. Restlessness, anger, sadness, fear, these are not mine. They are simply indicators pointing to a mental state. They come and they go. Whatever comes and goes is not me. I am restless, but who is it that knows this? I am hungry. I am sad. I am afraid. Who is it that knows these things? The mental states perceived through knowing, those are not me. I am the knowing itself. Feel the energy inside you, the aliveness of your inner being. In that instant, the chatter of the mind will quiet and eventually stop. Feel the inner energy in your hands, your feet, your belly, your chest. Feel the life that is your true nature. In that moment, your body becomes a gateway, a door leading into the feeling of life that exists beneath all the shifting emotions and thoughts. There is a life you can feel with your whole body and your whole mind. It lives within you. Cell by cell, every cell is alive. In that aliveness, thought is no longer necessary. The ego is always searching, always adding a little more, trying to become a little more complete. It grasps for this, hoards that. Whatever it already has, it wants to pile up even more. Its obsessive attachment to the future is precisely why. Each time I notice that I am living for the next moment rather than this one, I can step free of the ego's grip. In that moment, the possibility of resting fully in the present moment grows. When I rest fully in the present moment, a wisdom far greater than the ego enters my life. And who is it who observes this? Who is it who knows that the frame containing my body and mind is impermanent, fleeting? That is my reality. The me that exists at a deep level, with no relation to the past or the future. When the ego is master of life, the present moment is always reduced to a means to an end. I live only for the future. But even when the goal is reached, satisfaction doesn't come. And even when it doesn't last. But when you give more attention to the action itself, rather than to the result it will bring, you are letting go of an old habit of the ego. And the action itself becomes far more effective, bringing with it a boundless sense of fulfillment and joy. Dividing life into past, present, and future is a construction of thought, and ultimately an illusion. The past and future are forms of thought, abstract mental concepts. The past can only be remembered now in the present. What I am remembering now was also experienced as now when it happened. When the future arrives, it will already have become now. So the only thing that truly exists, the only thing that is ever really here, is this moment, the present. To be fully present in the now is not to deny what life requires. It is simply to recognize what is most important. Be grateful for now. Hold now in reverence. When the present moment becomes the foundation, the true center of gravity in your life, life begins to open and flow with ease. All suffering on this earth arises from false concepts of I and we. These concepts obscure our true nature. The person who does not know their own inner reality will always, in the end, imprison themselves in suffering. It is a simple mechanism. When I don't truly know who I am, I cling to a self-image created by thought as a substitute for my beautiful, sacred being. I become governed by fear and desire, and protecting and decorating that false self-image becomes the purpose of my life. Even the way people commonly speak reveals this. The fact that they don't know their own true nature. He lost his life. My life. These phrases carry the assumption that life is something you can possess or lose. But I do not have a life. I am life. One life, one consciousness, that fills the entire universe, briefly taking form as a bacterium, a flower, an animal, a human being, a star, a galaxy, enjoying the experience of each. Feel deeply that you already know this. You cannot find yourself in the past or the future. The only place you can ever find yourself is right here, in this present moment. The most essential work of a life, the only work that truly matters, is one for which time is ultimately useless. That work is to know yourself, to know the true you that exists beyond all appearance, beyond all names and forms, beyond your history and your story. When you know yourself as the clear mind from which all phenomena arise, you become free from enslavement to phenomena. You no longer seek your sense of self in situations, places, or conditions. What happens and what doesn't happen becomes far less important. All things shed their heaviness and their seriousness. The world becomes the dance of the universe. When you know your true nature, a living peace is always there. That is the joy of being, the joy of living as what you truly are. Listen to the subtle sounds of nature. The rustle of leaves in the wind, the sound of raindrops falling, the song of insects in the grass, the distant cry of a bird at dawn. Listen carefully to these delicate sounds of nature. Give your full attention to listening. Beyond the sounds you hear, something vast is present, something sacred, beyond what any thought could measure. I did not create my own body. I cannot control its functions. A wisdom far greater than the human mind is at work. The wisdom that sustains and continues all of nature. The only way to touch that wisdom is to feel the energy field within your own body. Go inside. Taste the presence of something alive and pulsing, the feeling of life itself. Watch a dog and its owner. Look at the dog's joy, its readiness to celebrate life at any moment, its unconditional love. Then look at the owner, carrying the weight of life's trials, lost in thought, discouraged and anxious. He is not here, not in the only home his life was ever given. Right now, right here. He is not here in the only time his life was ever given. This moment. Isn't it remarkable? How does the dog, living with someone like this, never lose its joy and full presence? Nature cannot be understood through the head alone. When you try to grasp life only through thinking, you see only form. The life within, the sacred mystery, remains hidden. When you approach nature, first create a space in your mind with no thoughts at all. When you come this way, nature comes to meet you, and you can participate in the evolution of human consciousness and ultimately of Earth consciousness itself. Look at a single flower, fully present right here, right now, completely alive, completely at home in life. Feel the stillness and peace that a flower radiates. In that moment, the flower becomes your teacher. Nature is the teacher that guides us back into oneness with all that is. The air you breathe is nature. The breathing itself is nature. When you pay close attention to your breath, you realize you are not the one controlling the breathing. It is nature's breath. If you had to remember how to breathe, you would already be dead. When you learn to watch your breath and place your whole attention there, you become most intimately and intensely one with nature. From that place, you are healed. Strength rises from deep within. A shift in consciousness occurs. The outer world of thought and concept transforms, becomes the inner world of pure, unobstructed awareness. Look at an animal, a flower, a tree, resting in its natural state. See how it simply is what it is. There is an immeasurable dignity there, a purity, a sacredness. But to see it, you must first move beyond the mind's habit of labeling and categorizing everything. At that point, you can sense a dimension of nature that thought cannot grasp, that the senses cannot perceive, that words cannot describe. I am not separate from nature. The countless forms, including me, are all completely and wholly connected. A vast, still space holds all of nature within it. I, too, am held within that space. Through my awareness, through my clear mind, nature comes to know itself. Only when the inner is still can we become one with nature at a deep level. Nature can lead us into stillness. That is the gift nature gives us. When I perceive nature and dwell with it from within the field of stillness, my clear mind spreads through it all. That is the gift I give to nature. Through me, nature comes to know itself. Just as it has for millions of years, nature is waiting for me, right now. At the moment of death, looking back on a life that is ending, it will feel like a dream that is just now coming to a close. But even within the dream, there will be something that truly exists. There will be the consciousness in which the dream arose. Without that consciousness, there would be no dream. Does that consciousness create the body? Or does consciousness create the dream called the body? Why is it that most people who have had near-death experiences lose their fear of death? Sit with that question. People generally avoid death out of fear, but rather than shrinking from it. If you directly face the fact that this body is impermanent and could dissolve at any moment, you can begin to loosen the grip of the belief that this body and mind are who you are. When you accept and embrace the fact that all form is impermanent, a peace arrives that you did not know before. By facing death, consciousness begins to free itself to some degree from identification with form. This is why Buddhist monks regularly visit cemeteries and meditate among the dead. But even now, the tendency to deny death remains strong. Even the elderly often refuse to speak or think about it. A culture that denies death becomes shallow, concerned only with the surface appearance of things. When death is denied, life loses its depth. The possibility of knowing who you truly are beyond name and form disappears, because death is precisely the door that opens into that dimension. If you learn to accept endings in life and go one step further, learning to welcome them, what first feels like an uncomfortable emptiness will in time transform into a deep and peaceful inner spaciousness. By learning to die in this way each day, you open yourself more fully to life. And then, rather than clinging to the thought that form is all you are, you begin to realize what is truly precious is your reality, the life that exists deep within you. It is the soul within, and it is the only thing you can never lose. In life, we experience loss again and again. We may lose possessions, a home, someone close to us. We may lose reputation, a career, the use of our bodies. Each time we experience deep loss, something we held inside seems to go with it. The self-image we believed ourselves to be shrinks and grows small. We lose our sense of direction when a form we unconsciously identified with as part of me leaves or dissolves. The pain is acute. It feels as if a hole has been torn through the fabric of our being. But do not deny the pain. Do not ignore the grief. Accept that it is there. Thought circles around the loss and tries to make you a victim, bringing fear, anger, resentment, self-pity. But do not deny the pain. Do not ignore the grief. Accept that it is there. Thought circles around the loss and tries to make you a victim, bringing fear, anger, resentment, self-pity. But look carefully at what lies behind the story the mind has made. Feel the emptiness rushing through the hole inside you. Can you face it directly? Can you accept it? The moment acceptance comes, fear dissolves, and astonishingly, peace begins to spread from that very place. This is why it is said that through the meditation on death, through the practice of dying before you die, the peace of God can come to you. When death occurs, when the form that held a life dissolves, in the hole that event leaves in the heart, something shines. The formless, the not yet manifest. Some call it God. This is why the most sacred thing in life is said to be death. At 20, I know my body is strong and full of energy. At 60, I know my body has weakened and aged. My thoughts may have changed from when I was young, but the clear mind that knows my body is young, the clear mind that knows my thoughts have changed, that has not changed at all. That clear mind is the eternity within me. It is pure consciousness. It is a life that has stepped free of form. Can I attain it? No. I am already it. There is nothing I need to achieve. Go within, deeper and deeper, and you will find the place where pure consciousness dwells, where all things are one. There, the noise of the outside world fades. The constant murmuring of your own inner voice goes quiet, and you become able to listen to the voice of endless stillness. The spiritual seeker who travels inward rather than outward sheds, one by one, everything that has been layered over the self. The mind empties like descending into a deep cave. All thought ceases. All language ceases. No emotion stirs. That place, what Buddhism calls the state of cessation, is stillness. It is what Buddhism calls Buddha nature, what Christianity calls the divine, the jewel within. And to reach it, what must we do? Simply this: pay attention to this moment, live in this moment, rest in the stillness this moment carries. There you will feel it. Deep peace, boundless joy, the feeling of being alive, true stillness, a happy self, a self that has become one with the universe.